Apple. Promote your business today. For more information, go to www.africtoday.com. Afric Today, the best of digital TV.
This is Vivian. She recently started a catering business, but like many other small businesses, she was struggling to get new clients. Growing a new business is never easy. She advertised her business on iWing Marketplace to increase her visibility and to attract more customers. Advertise your business like Vivian to attract potential customers no matter where you are in the world. It takes just seconds for customers to find you through the search engine or the category section. So don't wait. Advertise your business today on www.iwingmarketplace.com and increase your chances of being found by potential customers. This is Vivian. She recently started a catering business, but like many other small businesses, she was struggling to get new clients. Growing a new business is never easy. She advertised her business on iWing Marketplace to increase her visibility and to attract more customers. Advertise your business like Vivian to attract potential customers no matter where you are in the world. It takes just seconds for customers to find you through the search engine or the category section. So don't wait. Advertise your business today on www.iwingmarketplace.com and increase your chances of being found by potential customers.
L'entrepreneuriat digital vous intéresse-t-il? Vous voulez apprendre à construire des projets digitaux? Aimeriez-vous gagner des revenus passifs conséquents en tout lieu? Voici la plateforme des professionnels du digital, la Diaspo Academy. Ici, vous retrouverez les meilleurs professionnels de la diasporama mondiale connectés sur notre plateforme. Vous allez pouvoir acquérir des formations adéquates qui feront de vous des entrepreneurs digitaux compétents. Étudiants, entrepreneurs, coachs, instructeurs et entreprises, Diaspo Academy est une opportunité pour vous. Elle vous offre la possibilité de suivre votre formation en mode virtuel à partir de chez vous, où que vous soyez sur la planète. Toutes nos formations disponibles en ligne sont dispensées de manière interactive. Il suffit de vous inscrire et vous pourrez les suivre depuis chez vous. Au cours de la formation, vous passerez des quiz et examens selon votre parcours. En outre, à partir de votre tableau de bord, vous suivrez vos performances et progressions. Vous pourrez aussi communiquer avec vos instructeurs et recevoir des notifications. À la fin de votre parcours de formation, vous recevrez un certificat Diaspo Academy Certified. Que vous soyez débutant ou responsable d'entreprise, Diaspo Academy est une opportunité pour vous. Saisissez-la! Enfin, que vous soyez coach ou instructeur, ayez accès à un millier d'étudiants à travers notre plateforme. Merci de choisir Diaspo Academy, le meilleur choix. Pour plus d'informations, allez sur www.diaspoacademy.com. Diaspo Academy, la plateforme des professionnels du digital.
this week's edition of the series of virtual discussions brought to you by Immigrant Community Services. In these discussions, we bring you critical resources and information as our community deals with the COVID-19 pandemic. My name is Omega, and I'm Omega Taonesvi, and I'm your host tonight, and I want to warmly welcome all our viewers and our guests in this week's edition, where we focus on the class of 2020. With us today, we have graduating members of the just graduated class of 2020. We have human resources professionals, and we have millennial coach, Gen Z, and millennial success coach. So we have a very interesting discussion for you today. I would like to introduce our first guest, who is Tanaka Mukudzavu, and she is a recent graduate, just graduated class of 2020. Welcome, Tanaka.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Glad to have you.
You was clicking on something different.
And also joining us today is Messi Choguguza. She's a human resources professional, and we want to welcome you, Messi, as we share ideas and reassure our class of 2020 that not all is doom and gloom. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be part of this platform and share with class of 2020. Well done for what you've done. Don't hope it's all going to be a in the coming months. So hold on tight.
Absolutely. Thank you. And then we do have a millennials coach, Erica Pierce. Erica, welcome.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. Thank you.
Awesome. So we'll dive right in. Usually we have two segments in our show where the first segment focuses on local heroes, where we highlight community members who are making a difference in other people's lives. So this week, our community highlight is on
we can see the picture and stuff.
A local charity known as One Pupil, and we also focusing on Tanaka Education Foundation. Both are local charities that are in the education space. So unfortunately, One Pupil director Belhu Metaferia couldn't make it today, but we would definitely still talk about the work that they are doing and appreciate them, as they have an upcoming event, a 5K run. It's a virtual run where they are raising funds to help fund programs, educational programs in Ethiopia. So we do recognize One Pupil. They are one of our local heroes today. And we also recognize Tanaka Education Fund. And we will speak with Tanaka herself, the founder of this nonprofit that helps children in Zimbabwe at a school in Midlands, I think. Midlands, is that right, Tanaka? Can you tell us a bit more about your education fund?
We have 4 schools that we are sponsoring right now, all ranging from different areas, and primary schools and high schools alike. And right now we have 55 kids that we're sponsoring in total of all those schools. And we are, the foundation was founded by me and my parents in 2012, so 8 years ago. So it's been some time. But it started just as a conversation with me and my parents about what more can we do about our communities. Like, they would tell me stories about the hardships that children especially were going through in Zimbabwe and trying to find an education and failing because of the educational systems down there. And I thought, I mean, I'm in America. I'm blessed to be born here and be able to get an education, a good education where I am. So I thought, with the blessings that I have, what can I do to help my brothers and sisters that are back home? So that is when we started sparking up the idea to create a foundation. At first, it wasn't a foundation. It was just more of a small thing of us, donating money that we find here and there. But then we decided this should be more of a bigger thing, so a lot more people can get involved with us. So that's when we decided to make it a foundation, and we decided also to appoint different board members and leaders to join us on this journey. And that's when we first started with Majimba Primary School, and then we added a few more schools to that list. And we're still hopefully going to add schools in the future. And one of our goals is to also expand past Zimbabwe as well. So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't realize that you had actually expanded beyond Majimba Primary School, because that's what I was aware of. So how do you select the schools that you decide to assist? What's the criteria?
When deciding the schools we want to assist, we normally focus on schools that are like deeply in need, and we contact the headmasters of those schools, and also selecting which students get aid. The headmasters actually make that choice since they're down there on the ground and they're able to see the situations of all the students, and they choose the students that he or she deems that are in need the most, depending on where they're at in their environment currently. So yeah, that's about how we choose our schools and our students.
Okay, that's very good. That's very good. So you have 55 students that you assist. This assistance is in the form of tuition, or how do you assist?
We assist in tuition, and additionally we also assist in books, pencils, beans, sanitary wear for the girls, and also different school items that they might need to complete their educational journey. And also, we also raise funds to for different projects that we have for each schools. For example, for Majimba Primary School, we have a project to build a library. So we're currently raising money for that, and to supply new desks and chairs for these schools as well.
That's very good. That's very impressive. I am so proud of you and your charity. So how can we help? I mean, I'm sure there are viewers listening out there who are equally as impressed and want to contribute. What do you need, and how can we help?
I think the greatest way to help is to donate, and you can donate through our website, tanakaeducationfund.org. And there is a link where you can donate directly through there. If you're interested in different updates about what's going on with our foundations, you can look at the Tanaka Education Fund Facebook, and also follow the founders Facebook. So my mom, Mbai Moyo, Peter Mukudzabu, and also myself on Facebook as well, to see different updates and different things that are going on in regards to this foundation. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So hopefully our viewers will get to donate and follow the work that you're doing, which is great work, by the way. Thank you for all you do, because there are a lot of children who are in need. They are unable to get the tuition or the school resources that they need. So thank you so much for that. And I also want to congratulate you, because you are class of 2020. You just graduated. How has that been?
Yeah, graduating in the midst of a pandemic wasn't something I even dreamed about, but I'm still happy to receive my diploma and graduate with all the honors that I received. So yeah, it's strange, but I'm still happy to be here nonetheless.
Awesome. We are happy to have you, and we are excited, and we are grateful that you were able to finish the semester, even though you guys got a curveball thrown at you. So the world has changed since January, when you guys went into school after the holidays. So much has changed. There's a lot of uncertainty in terms of what people are going to do. Some students were slated to go into college, but due to financial reasons, they can no longer make it. Some who graduated had internships that had been secured, jobs that had been offered, but all those opportunities have fallen away, and it is causing a lot of anxiety and stress for class of 2020. So this conversation that we're having today is to help you and everybody else that is in the graduating class of 2020 to help with advice to reassure you, to celebrate you, and to maybe give you some pointers that will help as you navigate the new world that we are in, that where the world of the coronavirus. And I know you are going off to college in a few weeks. What is your next step? Where are you going? I know viewers are curious to know.
I'm scheduled to attend Stevens Institute of Technology in the fall. Although I do know that certain colleges have canceled semesters for the fall. So far, our school hasn't made any announcement regarding that, and I'm scheduled to go to school August 26th to study biomedical engineering.
Awesome. That's great news. Hopefully, it will stay open. And then you can actually make it on campus. I remember my freshman year, I was so excited coming from Zimbabwe. I was like, oh my God, I'm in America. So I would have hated if it had been canceled and we had to go to class virtually. That would have been terrible. But I'm rooting for you guys that you can actually go in person. But I'm going to turn to our other guests as well. So as I mentioned, the world has changed for class of 2020. There's so much uncertainty. What many people don't know where to go from the decisions that they've made have kind of been upended, and they have to reorganize themselves and come up with a new plan. So first of all, what would you say to the class of 2020? I'll start with you, Erica. What would you say to the graduating class of 2020, both high school and college?
Well, first, I would say congratulations. So, I think you're probably one of the first classes since maybe the Spanish flu to graduate during a worldwide pandemic. So you already are, and know how to navigate and to overcome challenges. And that is a part of life that will never go away. And the ability to pivot and to adapt, those are great skill sets. So I'm highly impressed by the students, both high school and college, that were able to stay focused and to stay the course and to make sure that they did not let the coronavirus get in the way of their priorities in terms of education. And then I would say, I really believe that you should still plan accordingly. So you should be ready to change if you have to, but just stay focused on what the end goal is. So your next goal is to continue and to further your education. So be focused on that. It may look a little bit different than how you imagined it, but as long as you stay very focused on what the end goal is, that's what's most important. I think right now it's easy to sort of get, a little just just to feel defeated or to feel like things are not happening according to plan. But again, that is going to be part of adult life. So you have to sort of get used to it. But just make sure you keep your eye on the next goal, which of course is furthering your education and continuing to navigate whatever is next in terms of your educational or professional career.
Awesome. That's very good advice. That not only applies to the graduating class, it also applies to people in the workforce like me who are already working. So thank you for that.
Yeah, we all need a little pep talk depending on the day. It doesn't matter how old you are. So now.
Exactly. So thank you. And I see that we do have Dr. Meta Faria. He finally joined us. Belhu, welcome. We had discussed Tanaka's charity, and so I'm glad you were able to join. So I know one pupil has a virtual run that is planned, that is going on right now. But before we get into the virtual run, can you please just elaborate for our audience what one pupil is and what you guys do?
Thank you. Congratulations to the class of 2020, and thank you, Omega, for inviting me, and also one pupil. Our main purpose is to help or support educational needs of rural Ethiopia, so students in primary school and also secondary school by providing basic school supplies, and also to see how the educational quality and also access could be improved. And we are participating in mostly in rural Ethiopia. Here in Montgomery County also, mostly for the immigrant community, we want to help them excel or tutor and mentor in mostly in some area of education, so that they could be competitive in the job markets that requires mostly science and technology, engineering, mathematics kind of field. So basically, this is what our main goals are, to improve quality and access in education. So one of the means or the tools we use to fundraise is a semi-annual 5K run, which we do every year twice. So it's our fourth event, but because of COVID-19, the event has been, as you know, has been canceled, and mostly we have shifted to a virtual run. We call it People's Run for Education. So basically, that's what we are stand for education, supporting education. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for that information. And I know some of your programs are in Ethiopia, and you mentioned you have some programs here in Montgomery County. What type of programs do you have in Montgomery County?
Okay, so the programs in Montgomery County are a continuation of what Taitu Cultural Center was doing. Those are tutoring and mentoring for recently immigrated Ethiopian community, but we also include anyone who comes and use our service. Mostly it is by tutoring and mentoring them. We kind of try to alleviate or encourage them to pursue their educational career, so that they don't have some of the obstacles. For example, recently immigrated community of ours have a barrier in terms of, for example, English language. So we give tutoring and mentoring, and also so that they adapt the cultural and the language and all those kind of. Some of them, they come, for example, they have already acquired a high school or mid-high school in Ethiopia. So when they come in here, the systems are different. So we want them to adapt to the new home, so that they will catch up in terms of their educational success. So we are trying to narrow the achievement gap, so that they will be competitive. Thank you.
That's great. We appreciate you helping newly arrived students to get acclimatized and to reduce that gap. So as far as the virtual run is concerned, I know it's currently ongoing. How can people participate?
So we have on One People page on Facebook, the event also have like a Eventbrite site where people would register. And we thought that this event was live on, so we had also the t-shirt prepared, so people can have registered and we can send them the t-shirt, which is Run for Education. It's People's Run 2020. So people can go to Eventbrite page, which is related to One People's page on Facebook as well. So also on www.onepeople.org would have the link to the event. So people can participate in that. Actually, we have the conclusion of the event, the virtual event is June 6th. What we have done is we are challenging our community to run collectively 24,901 miles. That is the circumference of the Earth. So collectively we can run by October 3rd. So actually the People's Run has extended to October 3rd, which we will have it live at the Sligo Creek. So people can go to the site where the event is and they can register for it.
Awesome. That's good. I I have registered, and I'm going to run my 5K this weekend, so I'll definitely record and share with everybody so they can see me running my 5K.
Exactly. The hashtag would be Run for Education, People's Run 2020. So
right.
you can hashtag it to Run for Education or People's Run 2020. So we'll send you the T-shirt, Omega.
All right. I can't wait to receive it and run. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to speak with us and let us know what you are doing and how we can help you in the great work that you are doing. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Omega, for what you're doing also for our community.
No, not a problem. So I would like to welcome our new guest. We have Rolf Barber from Montgomery College. He's a job placement specialist. And we also have Yassa. She is a recent graduate from the Harvard Medical School. I think, yes, that's right. So welcome. And our discussion is underway. We are going to pivot to our second segment where we actually go into the discussion on the class of 2020. And we had started, but I want to just give Yassa an opportunity to I want to first of all congratulate you on graduating. I know you are excited, and I did see your pictures and everything. That's great. So congratulations on your graduation. I know you had to graduate in the very unusual circumstance of virtual graduations. I know families were not able to attend, and this is a big thing, especially in the African tradition. Graduation is like major. So how were you able to navigate the difference where you had to graduate virtually with family overseas?
Thank you. First of all, I want to apologize for logging in late. I was like having kind of difficulties logging in.
Oh, that's okay.
And honestly, it was a bittersweet moment for me because this is something that my family and I, we've waited for so long. And the very week my mom was traveling here to the US for my graduation, it was the same week they had to cancel all flights. So yeah, and my son is also in Canada, and my son could not come to me. I could not go to my son. So it was just me and a friend of mine who's currently hosting me. So it has actually been like a challenging time for me, and like I said, a bittersweet moment because even though my family could not attend the graduation, but I had my friends, my classmates, like who were there. And even though we could not like take pictures and hug each other as we planned to do it, but it was a sweet moment for the fact that the dream that I longed for finally came true. What I actually hoped for finally came true, considering my background, considering where I come from as a Black woman from an impoverished country, that I went through 14 years of civil crisis, through the worst Ebola crisis, and to see myself here as a registered nurse and earning a master's in medical science of global health and social medicine, it was a dream come true. And even though, like I said, family could not attend, but it was a sweet day for me as well. And it was a day, like I said, for all girls around the world, especially girls who have been made to believe they are not going to pursue higher education. It was a success for all of us. So, I mean, it was a bittersweet day, but I'm glad that we finally did it.
Oh, thank you. I know that it's very emotional, especially having gone through the journey that you've gone, coming from Liberia, going through the civil wars and the health, the Ebola crisis, and all the other issues that hit us as we try to improve our lives. So we appreciate you, we celebrate you, and congratulations, you did it for us and for everybody else on the continent. So, Mercy, I know you have some words of encouragement for Yassa. What would you say to her, given all the things that all she has overcome to graduate from Harvard Medical School?
The sky is the limit. The sky is the limit. One of the things that I would encourage you to do is that though physically you could not be with your mom, your son, and your loved ones, what you have achieved for yourself is not just for yourself, it's for your son, it's for your mom and the family back home, it's for your village. You know, they say that when you educate a woman, you've educated the village. So we are celebrating you right now. I want you to own that. I want you to take that in and know that regardless of the other celebration, time will come for us to celebrate you in person. But don't let that moment, the not happening, take away from your achievement. Focus on that. Take all your energy and look and put it into what can you do next to make it better for the next person. Do not give. We are so proud of you. You've achieved a lot that no one, most of us, have achieved. So thank you for doing that, and thank you for being strong. Thank you for not allowing the circumstances to stop you from reaching the top. And this is for all the class of 2020, whether you're a high school graduate, whether you are a college graduate, don't stop being curious. Do not stop. Do not let the circumstances that are taking place right now because of COVID be a distraction from you to attain the best you that you could be. We are all unique in what we can do. We have unique gifts. We've got unique capabilities. We've got unique skill set. We can adapt. Let's sink into that right now and help us so that it helps us take us to the next place that we want to, what that we need to go. The earlier speaker was talking about pivoting, right? We cannot pivot if we give up. When you give up, you can't launch. So you have to keep fighting. You have to keep on believing in yourself. So know that you've got us behind you, and we're so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Definitely, we are very proud of you. And there's been a lot of changes in the circumstances for our graduates, the graduating class. So what some of the options that they had are no longer available. For example, for high school students who were previously slated to go into college but can no longer go into college because of financial issues, what is the next step for them? What would you suggest that they do? I'm directing this question to you, Erica, and then we can move on.
So to the high school students, I would say don't stop learning. So you may have to defer your start of college, but there are still plenty of other opportunities to continue to learn. So you can learn through real life world experience. So you could find a job that, just looking for someone that will give you a chance, internships, things like that. One of the great things about what's happening right now is that people are more open and flexible in terms of their time, in terms of just doing things in a different way. I'm working right now with a young man who's looking for internships. And I told him the other day, you can look for internships right now anywhere in the country. You're not just limited to internships in your city because most of them are all remote this summer. So, make sure you have that mindset. Also, there are so many online courses that you can be taking to, again, make sure you're building up your skill sets for when you do go off to college. So you could be learning things such as how to use PowerPoint, Excel, taking writing courses, depending on what field you're planning to study. There's just lots of different things that you can continue to do that are not as cost prohibitive as a immediate college education that you can still do. And then the third thing I would say is make sure that you are already focused on who is what I call your own personal board of directors. So look and see who are your mentors, who are the people that are going to be your champion, not just now, but long term, and see also what they can expose you to. College is one pathway towards success. I believe I love the statement that was just said in terms of when you educate a woman, you educate the village. But also there are other ways that you can continue to evolve and grow if you do have to put a pause. And then lastly, I will say, do not lose focus on what you want to do. When I graduated from college, my plan was to go to law school. I took 1 year off to work. I wanted to get some work experience. And then I took 2 years. And then I realized if I took another year that I probably wasn't going to go because it just became easier to, to do work and have a paycheck. So I said, I need to go now. So put a timeline in place, do what you have to do, be it savings, scholarships, but stay focused on what you want. Don't lose sight. Don't let something like coronavirus or the pandemic take away your ability to still reach your goals.
Absolutely. That's very good advice. So I'm going to ask Ralph the same question. I know you have over 30 years experience working with
That's how I got the beard, huh?
No, not the beard, but yes, the beard is shows your experience as well. I mean, you've worked with my brother's keeper. You've worked with Montgomery College, the United Negro Fund. So what would you suggest to our high schoolers?
I think I would probably echo most of the same theme that Africa was just talking about. I wanted to also extend my huge congratulations to Yasa. That's wonderful. Which country are you from?
I'm from Liberia, West Africa.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So at Montgomery College, for those of you that are unfamiliar, we are in Montgomery County, Maryland. We have 3 campuses. It's an extremely diverse community college, and lots of students go on from MC to Howard University of Maryland, pretty much all over. So they receive an excellent foundation. I work in the Student Employment Services Office, so we help students make resumes. We have some websites that we're referring students to for some online searches. We primarily help Montgomery College students once they get to MC as opposed to the summer before. So we're a pretty big school. We have 30,000 students with 3 campuses. And our department, unfortunately, only has 10 employees. We're pretty busy.
Wow.
We're pretty, yeah.
So you stay busy. I mean, with 30,000 students and 10 employees, you definitely stay busy.
Absolutely. So, I can give one really good website for the students to look at for scholarships. It's called Scholly. I'm not sure if some of you are familiar with that. SCHOLLY. I was fortunate when I went to the White House a few years ago to meet the founder of the organization. He came up with the brilliant idea of creating an app that people could download for only $3 a month that would give them access to about 500 scholarships. You'd be amazed how many scholarships there are for a first-generation student or a student that only had a 2.5 or somebody who overcame various hardships. There are all kinds of scholarships. So they should definitely, I would encourage people to download Scholly. Because if you look at it like you pay $3 a month for 6 months, that's only $18. So even if you only get a $2,000 scholarship, it was well worth it.
Definitely, yes. And I think it's definitely easier to get scholarships into community colleges. There's a lot of them, and worthwhile to invest in this app and find some money that will pay for your tuition. So thank you.
Absolutely.
And I know in speaking with Yasa, I know
I'm having a hard time.
There have been many challenges. You and your fellow students have encountered many difficulties and challenges during this pandemic. Just share maybe one or two of the difficulties that you guys have faced during this pandemic, and see if we can get some of the bright minds on this call to provide some advice.
Yeah. So
yeah, hold on. I just want to leave the computer. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Coming to the US for my studies, I actually came from Liberia to the US as an international student, and the plan was return home after graduation and get started giving back to my community. But considering the current pandemic, I'm kind of stuck. So prior to my graduation, Harvard actually offered the OPT and asked us to apply for the OPT. So I took advantage of that and I applied for the OPT. And I got the work authorization letter. However, I cannot get the social security number now because everywhere is closed. And my OPT starts the 27th of July. So I need to get a job before the 27th of July. So here I am without a social security number, and I've been searching for jobs. Yes, sometimes I get calls, but I cannot start because I don't have a social security number. And I was actually on a scholarship. Harvard actually like paid for my like everything, being on campus, my courses and everything, my living expense and everything. Harvard was paying for it, but the scholarship expire on the 27th of May. So I'm here currently. Harvard is no longer responsible for me. I'm here on my own. So the OPT, I got the work authorization letter, but I can't start any job now because I need to get the social security number. And it's kind of difficult being in the US without any job. It's actually difficult. So I'm just stuck, and I can't go back home right now because we don't have any flights going back home, and there's this lockdown where no flights in and out. So I'm stuck. I can't go to Canada either because I got my brother in Canada, but I cannot go to Canada either. So I'm just stuck. I had to leave Boston because I was paying like $1,500 for my apartment, and now I couldn't afford to maintain that apartment, so I had to turn the apartment over. So I'm currently in Minnesota squatting with a friend, hoping I can get the social security number sometimes maybe next week or so to start looking somewhere for a job. So it's been a real challenge. Being an international student, you can't work here. I'm a registered nurse, but I can't work in the US as a registered nurse because I don't have a license. So I can only work as a global health person, but unfortunately, I don't have a social security number to work. So right now, I'm just here, just waiting. I can't even volunteer because volunteering, you also need to have the social security number. So I'm just here and waiting for the social security office to open. And once it's open, I will go there and apply for the social security number because I have the work authorization letter already. So it's actually difficult staying here, like sustaining myself. And I have my son in Canada, I have my mom back home. But like I said, there's hope. I'm just hoping, and we keep praying that things improve and things become because I've actually presented this opportunity for the OPT to do like professional development and see how you can establish yourself like before going back. But here is it now. It's like it should be 1 year, and it should start in July. But I'm still here yet, no job, no social security number. So I'm just praying by the end of June, I can get a social security number to get started. So it's really tough. I'm currently squatting with a friend in Minnesota because I cannot afford an apartment on my own right now. So these are
yeah, that's a very difficult situation, and I've heard that from many international students who are caught between they are stuck here in the US, but they cannot maneuver because everything is shut down. So I know Mercy, as an HR professional, what can Yasa do concerning the start of her OPT or of the day that she's actually scheduled to start? I don't know if you have any insight in that. Is she able to contact the organization and have them extend her dates? What do you suggest?
One of the things that I would say is that being in this space that we are in for COVID, it's a unique space, and it allows for discussions that had not been had before to actually start taking place. The only thing that I can encourage you to do is don't stop looking for options, right? Keep your doors open. Keep having the conversations with your any future employees that you're going to be working with. Let them know the situation, that hey, this is what's happening. I do have my papers, here's my OPT, here's where I can, here's what's holding me back. The social security number is what's holding me back. My advice to international students who find themselves in the OPT situation or the situation that Yasif is to say to them, you now need to target organizations that like the nonprofit organizations, because they are more understanding, right? I know some may be able to find a way to work with you, right? So explore those options. Also explore options with the tech industries. Tech industries, when they bring employees here, they come with the HB1 visa. Some of them have got delayed social security numbers, obtaining social security numbers, depending on the states that they work in. The tech companies have worked on that. They've got ways of doing that. Unfortunately for me, I last worked in the nonprofit for, I think it's been 10, 15 years ago. So I do not have the nuances of what is currently happening. But knowing that there are options, there are options, but as to how to best navigate it, I'm not the best person to provide you with that immigration advice. But what I can say to you right now is do not stop looking. Continue looking, continue having conversation, have honest conversations. You mentioned earlier on that you say that you could not because you don't have a security number. Look at the option of they are looking for you to be trustworthy. Sometimes you may even not need to go to a police department and ask them to do a background investigation on you. Use that support to show that you're a trustworthy person, because what they're looking for in some cases is to see whether they're trustworthy. Maybe that might help you. So you just have to be creative about how you can go around the situation that you are in until July 22nd. So get that background investigation done by the police. Take that with you. Show your future employers that you want to volunteer at, organizations that you want to volunteer at, and say, hey, whilst I cannot get a social security number, here's documentation to show that, one, I'm here legally, and secondly, I'm trustworthy. Third, I do not have a criminal history or criminal record. Fourthly, the police know where to find me should anything go wrong. So you have to start thinking of things outside the box and stop doing things the way that it's normally done before. I just want to go back to the other question that Omega had on what advice to give to high schoolers, right, that are graduating from high school and college options. They have to start doing things that are different from what they were doing before. I encourage the high schoolers to start looking at things that they've not thought of before, like, for example, joining the Peace Corps, right? Going in, getting training, right? You go in, you want to be a nurse, you go in, join the Peace Corps. You get trained for free. You come out, you're qualified, right? And you just finished 2 years in college if you want to get a 4-year degree. But you're getting free education, free housing. You've got stuff on that's available for you. Start looking at the military, right? You go into the military, you get to be a commissioned officer, you graduate, you take a graduate course, do whatever it is that you wanted to do. If you wanted to be a doctor, take medicine through the military, the Navy, Air Force, the Army. They've got options. So start thinking outside the box. It does not mean that your life ends. It just means that you're looking at different options. You're just going through it a different route. Start with certifications, right? Certifications right now with COVID, it's trending that IT positions, education positions, marketing positions are actually going to be on the rise. So start having certifications in those areas, right? Community colleges, right? Good option as well for people to jump on and start figuring out, like, hey, I'm not going to spend a lot of money on a 4-year college, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to get an education. Get those 2 years in a community college, get the credits, then go to a 2-year college, 4-year college, and then you qualify with a bachelor's education. It's just you doing things differently. So we have to look at our situation and say, hey, this was the traditional route, but now there are options. Growing up in Zimbabwe, there was only one university that we could go to. It was the University of Zimbabwe, right? That was the only university that we knew and people knew how to go to. But when other universities started in the country, University or African University, NAST, people didn't know how to react. They still felt like if I go to these other colleges, I'm not getting a superior education. But that was nonsense. And college education is a college education. So it's the same thing that we're finding ourselves in with this COVID situation. We just have to look at the situation and say to yourself, okay, I need to go to point A. Previously, I would turn left. But now I'm going to go straight ahead, make a right, do a roundabout, but I'll still get there.
Absolutely. I think we do have to learn to adjust to the circumstances in which we are. And I want to welcome Fatmata Berry. She's the legal aid of Council Member Will Jawando, who unfortunately had an emergency and couldn't attend. And you came at the right time, Fatmata. Yasa has a situation here with her OPT, and it's supposed to start. She doesn't have a social, and she's an international student. Based on your knowledge, what is she able to delay the start of her OPT, or what are her options? We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm really sorry. I was listening to you, and my heart was just breaking for you. And I cannot give you any specific information, but we can always talk offline after this. So I cannot give you any real advice because I'm on here in place of Councilmember Jawando. But you and I can speak after, okay? And kind of go over your situation because I'm also an immigration attorney, and see what if any options you may have, okay? Because normally you have to take care of these things as they happen for you or to you. But I don't know your whole story, so I can't give you any real concrete information as to what you can do to extend it. Right now, there are a lot of extensions being done because of the situation we're in. And if a person cannot leave, there's usually opportunities for most visas right now, for most states to request an extension because, of course, of the pandemic. But a lot of them, we usually need to do them before they expire.
So, Fatmata, for other international students in Yasa's position, would you then suggest that they need to consult with an immigration attorney just so people know where to go from here?
Yes, consult before your visa expires. So say you're graduating, or say the year's coming up on and your permission to work and whatnot. Speak to an attorney as soon as you possibly can before the expiration actually takes place, and then move forward, because it's always better to get in before it's expired.
Okay, that's sound advice. And Ralph, yes, you have something to add.
Sure, Omega. One of the things I wanted to share with the people that are watching is don't overlook your soft skills. A lot of times we're very focused on trying to get degrees, get certificates, and get tangible skills that are marketable. But I just want to tell you a 1 minute side thing, just so people understand the power of networking. I was at an event, I guess, 2 years ago, and I'm talking to a very nice Nigerian guy. And I said, you look like someone I know. and Famata's laughing for a reason. And so he says, really? And I said, I swear, I played college tennis 35 years ago in Alabama, and here it is, we're in Maryland, and you look so much like this guy named Ike. And he says, I have a brother named Ike. And I said, well, the guy I'm talking about is Ikechi Ibo, Nigerian guy. He said, that's my brother. So I'm saying that in a lighthearted manner to get a chuckle out of Fatmata, but also to say that sometimes you have to use your spidey senses, your sixth sense in networking efforts, because you never know where they may lead. where you can sometimes have a genuine common interest with someone, and that sparks an interest and makes them want to help you. Not so much based on your resume, but just who you are as a person. Something about you resonates with them and is appealing. So I'm sorry to digress. But,
no, that's very timely advice, and it's very useful because it leads us to our next question. And I think, Erica, you can probably address this, the power of networking for millennials. I know they are social beings and everything. How does that help them? How will that help them in this situation?
Well, I mean, I think it, we heard it right here. You just never know who your path may cross with. And what I would say is just to, be open. I think sometimes when we meet people and we connect with them and we think in our head, oh, wow, I wish I could ask them if they could introduce me to so-and-so, or I wish I could ask them if they had any opportunities available at their organization or at their company, or, I should have said this, or I should have got their phone number, I should have got their email. You just want to make sure that you eliminate the should haves. One of the things that I believe, especially as people of color, we sometimes are more reserved when it comes to asking and saying, could I meet with you? I'm looking for a job. I'm looking for an opportunity. Can I have some of your time? And I often see many of our, white counterparts, they have no hesitation in doing it. And sometimes we look around and you're like, wow, how did so-and-so get that, opportunity or that job? And sometimes, it's for reasons just, they were in the right place at the right time. But sometimes it's because they asked for it. And I think especially for those who are early in their careers, just don't be afraid to speak up, to ask. As my mom always told me as a young child, the worst thing that can happen is someone says no. And so what do you have to lose? So that's what I would say. I definitely believe in the power of networking. I'm someone who personally, I use LinkedIn quite a bit for networking. I believe that it's a great platform. If you want to be around people who have jobs and who are professional, you have to go to where they are. And a lot of them are on LinkedIn. And it's not something just for people who are, executives and further in their career. It's a great avenue for people who are just starting off their career. I encourage people who are especially college graduates, high schoolers. I mean, it's a way to start building out your brand and to meet and connect with people. I get messages all the time asking me to, could I speak with you for 15 minutes? Would you have time to look for my resume? I saw you're connected to so-and-so. How well do you know them? Could you introduce me? And, you just never know. So don't be afraid to connect with people, and there is true power in relationships, and that will go across your career. Some of the people that have helped me in my career, I've known them for 20 plus years. And one thing I will say is that when you leave, be it high school, college, a job, and you're, once you get older and someone says, keep in touch, keep in touch. That is key. One of the people that has been so pivotal in my life was one of my first jobs on Capitol Hill. I met him when I was 21, and he's still one of my mentors and has helped me, and to this day, 20 years later. So it's an important way to really make sure you're always building out your network. And one thing I will add, I'll leave. Also, networking is two-way. Don't think also because you might be younger or have less experience that you don't have something to also add value to them. I think we underestimate that sometimes as well. There are certain ways that you can also, be a resource to other people who may even be, much further in their career or, completely at the opposite end of the spectrum than where you are. It is definitely a two-way. So that's another thing I think we lose sight of as well.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to piggyback. I really like what you said, Africa, about creating your brand. Sometimes we overlook the value of things that we're bringing to the table. And an example of that might be, we know that it's incredibly impressive that Yasa went to Harvard Med School, but I did my undergrad at an HBCU, a historically black college. So sometimes when you're talking with people, you say, oh, I went to an HBCU, Alabama State, and then all of a sudden someone says, oh, I did Harvard for med school, but I did my undergrad at Hampton, then you have a connection. So that's all part of what Africa was talking about when she was saying how you create your brand. You know, you can't be ashamed of anything you have, because you never know. You may say you played high school tennis. That person may be a tennis enthusiast. You may say you did a summer internship in Boston and they're from Boston. You just don't know.
Absolutely. I can attest to that. When I moved to the DC area, one of the first job that I got, I think it was largely in part because an alumni from my school was on the interview panel. And so when she looked at my resume and saw that we had gone to the same school, I could tell that there was a change in the dynamics there. She was really enthusiastic. And I still believe up to this day that I got that job because we had gone to the same school. So it's definitely networking networking is important. I just want to remind our viewers that we will be taking questions from our viewers. If you can send your questions through our WhatsApp number or on Facebook, we will definitely be answering your questions in the next few minutes coming up.
And then one of the things that Fatmata and I have discussed in the past, the thing that a lot of people overlook is the likability factor. Okay, Fatmata has a law degree, so I assume everyone she's competing against has a law degree. So what makes me hire Fatmata over her competitors? And it's the likability factor. There's something about her where I say, you know what, she would fit into this firm. I like her. So don't discount if you have a little personality, or if there's something you can do to distinguish yourself, something you can say or do to distinguish yourself from your competitors. I think that can stand out.
Definitely.
If I can just add to what you've said is that for me, one of the way I hire people, I do not hire people because of mostly their experience, because to me that does not really count. I hire a person because of what they are likely to bring to the table for me. And in my years of being in HR, the over 20 years that I've been in HR, I have never been wrong. I have been very able to tell that, hey, this is the person that I want, and I can see where they're going to go in my department, and I bring them on board, and I've never been disappointed. Case in point is I hired a millennial who she was on the job when I got there, and she was being underutilized. One of the things that you do as a manager is do a skills analysis, a gap analysis, to see who has what skill set and things like that. So when I started developing her into becoming an HRIS analyst, everybody thought that I was crazy. A year later, she's rocking that HRIS job. So to the point of what the previous speaker was talking about, likability, and what is it that makes you stand out? Those are the things that make you stand out. For me, somebody also took a chance on me. I came to America after having worked in Zimbabwe for a while. I was stayed in my ways, but the one thing that I had something, and the first manager who took me in and shepherded me and mentored me in was at Lockheed Martin. And from there, I have never gone wrong. So going back to the fact that have something, look at yourself. What is it about you that is different from somebody else? And don't be afraid to ask. Right. LinkedIn has got an advisory services that you can use. You tell them that, hey, I need advice, for example, on what to do next with COVID. I'm getting lots and lots of those requests that comes into my inbox at LinkedIn. LinkedIn also has the LinkedIn learning services that if you want to get free classes, free education, you can do that. Most of the IT classes, if you want to have a C+ security and I+ security, from most of these vendors, from Microsoft, VMware, they are not charging for those classes. So, it's things that we can do. And I think, Omega, what we can do after this is probably I can help you create some of these free websites, and I can send that information to you to share with the graduation class of 2020. Whether it's the high school person who does not have money to go to college but wants to go into the IT field or wants to do something, or it's a college student who is finished but wants to get certifications to do that, I'll send that your way so that at least you can share it with our class of 2020.
Absolutely, that would be very helpful. Thank you, Mercy. So one of the questions that we had received is, I'm a recent graduate, and how can I launch a career during the pandemic? I think we may have answered some of the, we may have answered this question partly, but this viewer is asking how they can launch a career during this pandemic, and they are a college graduate, and their internship or job offer had been rescinded.
Mm-hmm. It's not surprising that most of the internships are being rescinded, and that's going on a lot. So one of the things that I would also say is that some of the companies, I would say about 30%, there's a survey that was done by the National Association of Colleges and Employers, NACE, and they came up and showed that at least 40% of those companies that have withdrawn their internships are looking at relaunching them at a later date, and they might have them in a shortened version of what it was like. So if you were offered an internship, my advice is keep having conversations with your with the company, with the recruiter. Keep finding having conversation. Find out what options are available for you. That's number one. Number two, it's again going to those options that I shared with you. Look at the military as an additional option. Look at the Peace Corps as an additional option. Thirdly, use your soft skills. Go in, network. Don't give up. My advice is don't give up. It's not the end of the world. Don't give up.
Definitely. Thank you. It's definitely not the end of the world. So did you have something to add on there, Erica?
Yeah, the one thing I would add, I agree with everything that was just said, is, there are companies that the first 3 months either were pausing or doing hiring freezes, things like that. But what I've heard and what I'm seeing is that, everyone's sort of accepting what the new normal will look like, and they're starting to restart some of those positions, many of which are going to be remote for the near future. And so what I would say to everyone is you should practice what it will be like, especially if you're a college graduate, to work in a remote world. So number one, get very comfortable talking in front of a video camera, talking in front of a computer. Interviews right now are being done mostly primarily through video and telephone interviews. And so you want to make sure that, you still feel comfortable talking to someone through a computer or through your phone. And also when you are doing your interviews, you may get some questions about, how you would work in a remote way. And so you want to start thinking about that, because your career, again, it may look a bit different than you thought it would, but you have to still, not give up and stay focused and be willing to adapt. And so those are some of the things that I'm telling people right now is, remember, know how to use the video technology, feel comfortable with it. And honestly, those are some of the things, especially while you're just interviewing, are going to make you stand out. People who are very comfortable, who have practiced, give someone else, set up a Zoom call. Zoom is free right now. You can set up a Zoom call and do some practice interviews and things like that, because, interviewing is a skill. And doing it on a computer is also very different than doing it in front of someone in person. So, be comfortable with that so they can see that this is someone I know that I can trust and who has the professional maturity to work in a remote way, because that's what people are also going to be looking for right now for office jobs that are typically done in the office.
Okay. And Ralph, with students in that you are assisting at the college, how are you helping them in situations where they've had their internships rescinded or their job offers withdrawn?
Sure. Well, one of the things I was going to say, I think for young people, sometimes when you're getting ready to start college right out of high school, there's nothing wrong with working at Dunkin' Donuts or, a retail job. because there are a lot of transferable skills. I need to know you're going to be on time. I need to know you're going to be reliable. I need to know you're going to carry out the tasks that you're assigned. So to me, there's nothing wrong with a young person doing a retail job or working in a food establishment. And then once they get in school, you have career centers, you have job fairs. We have a huge database that they get access to. So things of that nature can be really helpful. We do have some websites. Unfortunately, I don't have them at my disposal right now, but there are some websites where people are hiring online for various jobs. I know that 2 students that I sent down to Alabama State, a guy from Nepal, I was able to get them full scholarships, and the guy from Nepal was supposed to work here in Maryland at Geico, and he's able to work online this summer. And then a young lady from Ethiopia who was supposed to work at Uber in California, she's able to work online as well. So some of these internships have managed to still offer some work experience online. I think the reality is a 21-year-old junior is much more appealing than an 18-year-old freshman. That's not to say that a young person can't get an internship. It just means the more you bring to the table, it makes you more marketable. So.
Talking about what you're mentioning about retail work, most of these retail giants actually pay for your college. Walmart, for example, if you take any shift for Walmart and you tell them that you're interested in continuing college education, they will actually contribute or help you with your student loan. Target has got a graduate trainee program that they can actually train you into. Dunkin' Donuts is one that they can also train you into. Enterprise Car Hire has got one program as well. Amazon has got one as well. So yes, those retail organizations actually, or companies actually can actually be very attractive right now because of what they offer other than the work that you do, because they will allow you to actually get to your dream in terms of whatever college you want to go to and get the degree. Also, there is a website called Handshake. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. So Handshake is usually just for internships, but now they've also just developed another aspect of it to also help young graduates in terms of getting jobs. So go on Handshakes as well, because I was there this afternoon. I've got a son who's a junior who's going to be a senior this coming fall when we open up, and we're having a discussion with him where I was asking him if he's been on Handshake. So if you go to Handshake right now, you register as a student, either a high school student or a college student. As long as you've got a .edu email, they will allow you access to go in and browse. There's so many options that are there that are available. I liked what Erica talked about, that you can work from anywhere. Those options are there right now on Handshake. Try it out. All I'm saying is try it out. You'll never know. The only thing that you guys are going to be doing a lot of is doing a lot of things for the first time that are different from what we had to do when we started looking for jobs.
Absolutely. Okay, that's a good resource, Handshake. I was not aware of it, but I'm sure our guests will find it, our viewers will find it useful. So this is another question from a viewer, but she states, I'm not a high school graduate. I'm already in the workforce, but I'm considering changing my career, my job, looking for employment. Is this a good time for me to be doing that, or should I wait?
It is. This is the best time to do it, right? If you have been laid off and you don't have anything to do right now, get that extra skill set that's going to help you on your resume. Even if you're just starting the class today, right? Put it on your resume that you're currently studying for this certification and have at least a projected end date. That just shows that you are that more employable in terms of what you're going to bring to the workforce. Most companies and most organizations are looking for people with transferable skills, right? If, for example, as an IT engineer, all you were doing was web developing without the hardware, you might want to get some certification in the hardware engineering aspects. If you were a marketing person who do not understand maybe the principles of accounting, you might want to get some accounting experience, or maybe some IT experience, so that's what I'm talking about. Peg yourself, get extra complementary skill sets that will help you launch your career, start this career in another field. If you're working right now, and if your company is still allowing you to work, you still have a job, and you've got any interest in a department at your company, this is the best time to actually go start having conversations with your manager, with your HR department, and with the department heads to whom you're interested in, because it's much easier for you to get that transferable skill set from your current employer. So yes, definitely for that person who's looking to change their career, I'll say go for it. Do not even think twice about it.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you. So these are the questions that we have received so far. We'll wait and see if we get any more additional questions. But I know earlier we were supposed to get Council Member Jawando to update us on something that is working at the council and the activities that they are doing to help high school students or college students in light of the pandemic. So since he was unable to join and Fatmata has joined, we'll give you, Fatmata, an opportunity to give us an update on the work that you guys are doing at the County Council. Fatmata, can you hear me?
I think you're on mute. I think she has it on mute.
We cannot hear you, Fatmata. You need to turn your sound on. Unmute yourself. No? There we go.
She's muted. She's muted.
You unmuted and then you went back to mute, so we cannot hear you.
Omega, Josephine may have her cell phone number. Maybe she can send her a message.
That's
no, I hear you.
Oh, great.
Oh, okay.
Is that better? I'm having some technical difficulties. My computer is giving me some difficulties.
So I was.
Can you hear me?
Yes, if you can give us a few updates that Council Member Jawando is working on.
Okay, so well, he asked me to come to really just give a statement on encouraging our 2020 students, because he's been doing a lot of work with the libraries. He's been doing a lot of work with the education committee, which is what he's part of in the council. And he's still working. I'm sorry, I have poor connection. In case you cannot hear me, my computer says I have poor connection. Can you hear me?
I can hear you well.
Okay, so it basically that he is working really hard to make sure that our school system is where it should be in the county, and working on ensuring that students continue to receive the education they need, especially during this pandemic, and making sure that the services that they are or have been getting actually works for them. He's encouraging all students to continue to try. We know this is a really difficult time, and we know that the graduating is not the normal, right? It's not the norm, but that there's more to come, and there's greater things to come for you. As students, know that you have a friend in the council. Omega will put my email address on there, so you can reach out to me, and I'll connect you with the gentleman who deals with education work within the council. And Councilmember Jawando is always willing to meet with people and speak to people. And if you think you need an internship, contact the firm. I'm sorry, not the firm. Contact the office, because we also do internship for college graduates, college students. So that would also be a good way for anyone who might be interested in government to get some experience. Internships are really great. Even as a law student, I remember they used to have you do externships for credit and then internship non-credit, but it gives you that experience because, when you get out, it's always the first question is, do you have experience? And you can't really have experience until you have a job. And if you can't get a job without having your degree, do an internship. And they're usually very good. You get to learn a lot about the subject matter that you are working on. And it'll be beneficial. You make your contacts, you build a network, you learn, and at the end of the day, it will be very beneficial for you as a college grad. And even those who are still in college, contact us if you're interested in internships. We have interns who will come in.
Thank you so much, Fatmata, for that information. We'll definitely share your contacts and have anyone who's interested in government internship to contact you guys. So I just want to thank our viewers. We have reached the end of our discussion today. I want to thank our guests today. We had a wide variety of people on, and we have come to the end of our discussion. If you have any questions that we were unable to get to, if you can still send them, we'll respond to you on an individual basis and post that as well. So to our guest speakers, I want to thank you for taking the opportunity and the time out of your schedule to come on today and share with the class of 2020, to reassure them, to give them advice. I know there are a lot of people that have benefited from the information that we shared today. So I appreciate you all. And I think I'll make it quick. I'll go through quickly with all of you. If you have any last or parting words that you can that you want to share with our class of 2020, I'll start with you, Erica. We can't hear you.
Sorry about that. I was on mute. I would say just congratulations to the class of 2020. Every time we make a passage as far as our education, it should always be celebrated, and just stay the course, be able to pivot. That is part of life. And so this right now, we're all having to make some twists, turns, readjust, but that is a skill set that you will be able to use across the course of your career. And the one piece of just, I would say, actionable advice I would give is to actually echo something Mercy said earlier: follow up. That is something I see so many people failing to do. So if you spoke to someone and you didn't hear back from them, follow up. If you want to be creative and you want to present a different sort of option or path, follow up. So that's something that is up. Everyone can do that, and you should be doing that always. People are not going to track you down for opportunities. You must be control of your own destiny. And congratulations again, and best of luck to all of you.
Thank you, Erica. And Yasa, I know you are part of the graduating class that just that is getting the advice, but I'm sure you have a word or two for your fellow classmates. What would you like to say as parting words?
So first of all, I want to say thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for inviting me, and it's a wonderful experience. Honestly, like listening to all of you talking. I've learned a lot in terms of networking, and Erica said follow up, always follow up. And what I would tell my fellow graduates is that we are in a world of uncertainty right now. We don't know, what to expect. But all I would say to you, as all of our guests have said, empower yourself while you wait. Do some online courses, reach out to people and ask for help. And trust me, you will see me in some of your inboxes. I will be reaching out to you and asking you, like, what can I do? What next? How can we do this? And I also want to talk to all of my fellow graduates. Don't just sit and say, okay, I'll just wait until probably after the COVID-19. No, start to do something and prepare yourself post-COVID-19. Prepare yourself for post-COVID-19. So once again, thank you so much for inviting me today. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Yasa. We hope things will turn and you can get all the documentation that you need so you can start on your OPT. I know it will. So hang in there, stay strong. And Ralph, what are your parting words for our class of 2020?
Sure. I just wanted to say, huge congratulations. And honestly, it may sound corny, but you are our future. And I think we've witnessed that sometimes you can take a negative and make it a positive. And a good example of that would be the horrible tragedy of George Floyd's death. Today, Steven Jackson, who used to play in the NBA, was holding George Floyd's daughter on his shoulders. And he told her, "Your father changed the world." And so obviously a horrible situation, but hopefully it will have a positive impact on police interaction with people of color in the future. And I think we've seen all these protests, and with the protests, we've seen that the majority of people participating are on the younger side. So it shows you that you all are our future. You have numbers, you have ideas, you have innovation. So what people did in the 60s to help with civil rights, now you can help with dictating future policy. So all the best to you. Be heard. Don't be silent.
All right. Thank you, Ralph. And Mercy?
Congratulations, class of 2020. You guys are the rock stars. You guys are the strongest people out there, stronger than any one of us. So with this situation that you find yourself in, it calls for
Oh, we can't hear you. Mercy, we cannot hear you.
your degree, your high school is still within you. Dig deep, dig in, and continue believing in yourself. Persevere. Persevere and persevere some. We have a double-edged sword because we are immigrants, or you're children of immigrants. So you have to work extra hard to get to the next place. But let me tell you, it's achievable. You can do it. So I know that when we come to 2021, we'll be talking about this in hindsight, and probably we are going to learn from you as well. You are teaching us as well. So don't give up.
Thank you so much. And with that, we conclude this week's edition of the virtual discussions. We invite our guests to tune in again next week as we talk to community faith leaders and the work that they are doing to prepare the community to as the lockdown is lifted. So have a good night and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Omega.
Thank you. Enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you, Omega.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Do you want to promote your business? Do you want to talk about your nonprofit organization? Do you want to talk about your culture? Introducing the online web TV, Afric Today. Fogham. You can watch us live at the same time on 4 platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and using the Afric Today app. Download our app today for Android or Apple. Promote your business today. For more information, go to